The officer. Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Falcone.
There.
Same. Do pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You'll notice we had an executive session.
Chairman, if I might like to announce that this evening, hearing board held an executive session with regard to a matter that is presently on the field court of common pleas. Has to do with the property located at Hickory Lane, section of Hickory Lane and Avenue Township. That matter was reviewed by the zoning board. Unfortunately, not advertised this month inadvertently, therefore, dealt with on January's meeting. So I apologize to anyone that particular matter, but it will be heard in January.
Anybody here for Zero Hickory? Okay, so you're okay with coming in January? That's gonna be heard then. Yep.
We apologize. We'll be on the agenda next month.
I got you. Hold that.
You tell me what you need, you know that. A little change in the agenda order. We're gonna do 6.6 first. The TD Bank. So anybody going to TD Bank, please come up. We'll do that first. Yeah, let's move the tables and get the microphone up. Now we're gonna move that. The first agenda, 2023-28, Commerce Bank. TD Bank, 1701 Marlton Pike East, Suite 200, Cherry Hill, New Jersey. Pertaining subject matter, 3609 Winding Way, Newtown Square, applicant resets a variance relief for section 172, 123A and B permit. Total sign area, 159.1 square feet. Applicant also gets request variance. Other section of the zoning ordinance that may be realized in the zoning process here is it's located in the C1 district. Andy's the file in order. Andy. The file in order.
File is in order. Exhibits are up on the screen.
Six.
The posting is the physical posting of the property. Notices mailed to everyone within 200 feet of the property boundary and a list of residents.
Chairman, I would ask that the documents submitted by the applicant on this application be marked as one. Notifications, property owners, designated township. Publication, hearing, published in the Daily Times, weeks, cited as township number 3. Posting of the property, noting tonight.
Thank you. Are there any party protestants for this application? Seeing none? Okay.
Good evening, Matthew McHugh on behalf of the applicant this evening. I have with me also Chris Peed from Philly Sign Company, who would be my sole witness. This is a pretty straightforward application, so if it's okay with the board, I can summarize and then have Mr. Pede adopt my summary as his own
Please.
testimony. For you, we handed out a packet of exhibits consisting of tabs A and B. I would ask those marked as applicants 1A and 1B. The subject property that we have here this evening is the existing TD Bank located at the intersection of 252 and Winding Way. The applicant is seeking variances as they are updating the existing signage at the property to meet their current branding efforts. Specifically, we are going to be replacing the pylon sign along Route 252, replacing the wall sign that is on the wall of the existing branch building, and replacing the directional sign along the access driveway to Winding Way. If you look at the packet that's before you, tab A, the first page of that is a site plan which shows the locations of the signs. EO1 is the pylon sign, EO2 is the wall sign, and then down to the bottom right at the access driveway, there's a black line. That's the location of the directional sign. The next page shows the proposed pylon sign. It is going in the exact same location as the existing pylon sign. It's actually a reduction in size. The existing pylon sign, which you see a photo of along the right, is 84.4 square feet. The proposed sign will have a total sign area of 39.6 square feet. It will be internally illuminated. The next sign is the wall sign. That is being replaced. The need for the variance, which we're here for this evening, relates to the total square footage. When you are counting the sign under your sign ordinance, the determination of the zoning officer was the architectural fins that are above and below the sign are part of the sign area. As a result, the sign area for this particular sign is 115.5 square feet. The TD green portion is 27.9 square feet and is the exact same size as what is currently out there. Then finally, the third page after that is the sign area for the directional sign, America's Most Convenient Bank, with the stop sign. The sign area there is 4 square feet. The next page just shows some signs that are located in the drive-through area that are being removed. Tab B shows some site photographs of the existing branch and the signs that are out there. So the ordinance allows us to have 50 square feet. That's what the code requires. As a result of the various signs that are going to be out there right now, 159.1 square feet is the total sign area if you include those architectural elements on the wall sign. If you take those out, we're only about 21.5 square feet more than what we have out there right now. As a result, we're asking for a variance from the code to permit the signage as proposed. Mr. Pede, you've sat here and heard my summary of the application. Is there anything that you would change or correct? And would you adopt my testimony as your own? I realize he hasn't been sworn now. And so you heard everything that I said, and would you adopt that summary as your own testimony before the board this evening?
Yes.
We're happy to answer any questions the board may have about the presentation.
You said there's 21 more being requested than there are now. Is that including the structural or the architectural fins?
That's if you, right, yeah, with
You
you,
include
yeah,
them?
yes.
21. What if you do not?
I don't have that calculation. We can do it quickly, I think.
That's fine. It's less than what it is now if you do
Correct,
not.
but yes, the pylon sign is good.
Yep. All right.
Yeah, it would be a reduction without them.
Andy, any issues with this?
I just want a clarification. The architectural fins, are they illuminated?
They are.
That's why that's why I calculated the
You wanna-
entire area.
And we're not appealing or
No, no,
taking
I-
any exception to
I
that.
just wanted clarification that those architectural fins
Yep.
will be illuminated, and that's why I added
Yeah,
the entire area.
Makes sense.
sure.
The only other question, I understand you mentioned that the existing pylon design staying in its existing location. I don't know that I ever saw anything that showed the right of way along, so the only suggestion I would have is if you don't have that document here showing the right of way,
Sure.
that a condition be applied to make sure it's out of the right.
The only thing I'll say is we're not changing the location of the sign at all, and to the extent I think we would be acceptable with that condition.
If I may add, what's happening is we're gonna use existing, support and footing. We're not touching that at all. And the width of the sign is getting narrower. So as long as the initial, this sign is compliant, the existing one, I don't,
That's my concern is I sit here today, I can't tell you 100% that it's outside of the right of way, other than we're not changing its location at all.
That's been my concern since I reviewed.
Well, and I guess, could that be the clarification then would be that it's either got to be outside the right of way or we've got to show a proof that we're permitted to locate it within the right of way?
Outside of the.
Or we're allowed to have it there?
Or
Sure. Mhm.
need a document.
Permit or whatever, we may need whatever to show whatever that is to allow us to have it there.
yes, it is. And if it's a halo lit, it's not gonna light from the front of the fin. It will wash the back. Or the,
Back of the-
correct. For the fins.
Be a timer on the sign for it to go off at night and things like that, or is it illuminated 24/7? Like,
No, they're tied into whatever the lot lights are.
okay. So whatever the lot lights are, they'll go off.
Yeah.
Mhm.
The current pylon fan or pylon sign illuminated on the street?
What?
Is the current pylon sign on the street illuminated?
Yes, it is.
Any other questions from the board? Anything else? Have a motion?
Move we grant the variance to section 172, 123 A and B. The expansion of this sign to be 169.1 square feet. With the understanding that it's, if it is in the right of way, either we need verification from PennDOT that they're permitted to do it. If not, the sign needs to be removed from the right of way.
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Our next case, 6.1, Jack and Priano, 3 Gartley Drive, Newtown Square, pertaining to the subject property 4031 West Church Pike, Newtown Square. The applicant seeks variance of accordance to section 172, 121B. The applicant also requests relief from any other section of the zoning ordinance that may be realized during the zoning hearing process. The subject may be located in the R1 district. This is being continued at the request of the township. Any?
San Francisco, what I can tell you is that the township requested this continuance from Mr. Simply because, we have not yet, the board of supervisors has not yet received a review letter back from the county. In regard to his rezoning request, that is still pending. I believe that that's scheduled for the January 22nd, 2024 board meeting, board supervisors meeting, in which they'll make a determination as to whether or not the county has accepted the rezoning, as well as then the board can make their final decision on that. And then ultimately, based upon that decision, we can, if it is rezoned, I can then do another review to determine if the variance for the sign, which is the item before you, is actually needed.
Yes, that we put on February this.
February? Questions from the board? No.
And that's it.
So February, what's the date? So February, you just randomly random dates?
No, I'm actually looking at it.
Yeah,
23rd?
22nd. It's gonna be the 22nd. Zoning. It's coming back.
30,
Yeah.
15th.
Well, it'll be the 15th, the third Thursday.
Third Thursday, 15th.
15th.
I'm not gonna be on this zoning committee anymore, so it's up to them. February 15th. A motion, to extend it.
Make a motion to extend and move application Z 2023-13 to the February 15th zoning board meeting.
Have a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. 6.2, Scott and Cynthia Mackay, 317 Earles Lane. Containing the subject property applicant seeks variance from relief sections 172-31B. Overage for the allowable impervious ordinance coverage. The applicant also receives relief from the other sections of the zoning ordinance that may be realized in the zoning process. It's located in R1A zoning districts. Do we have present? Okay. Okay, sworn in. And he's filing order.
File is in order, as you can see, on the screen, that posting of the property. Posting of the property, as well as the notice that was advertised in the Delco Times on 2 separate occasions. The mailing list of all residents who received that notice within 200 feet of the property boundaries. There you go.
Chairman, I would ask that the application, any documents that have been supplied by the applicant for this tonight's hearing be marked as Township Exhibit number 1. That the notice to residents within 200 feet, as noted, be labeled as Township Exhibit number 2. Proofs of publication for publication in Daily Times 2 consecutive weeks. Tonight's hearing would be Township Exhibit number 3. And the posting of the property indicating tonight's hearing time and place be marked as exhibit number, township number 4.
Mr. Oslander, any party protestants? Being none? Go ahead. Minute the documents. Got it? Thank you.
So we're here tonight,
Got to speak up.
Yeah, we need a little microphone. Hold on one second. There you go.
All right, so yeah, we're here tonight because we're constructing an in-ground pool with a hot tub, with a stormwater pit. And we're constructing it, and we're asking for the proposal of the ordinance for the impervious to go from 25% to 26.39. Because we are currently over 542 square feet over the allowable square footage. We do have provisions in place for stormwater management, which they are shown on that plan. And that's basically it. We just want a 1.39% increase in impervious, total impervious numbers.
What was that total square foot? Over?
542.75 or over.
That equates to the 1.39%.
1.39%. We're currently at 26.39% proposed. 39.
Can you walk through why the additional square footage is required?
Well, we are, okay, so we did have more. We actually did cut down the decking around the pool. As you can see in the, actually, I'm not sure, which plan do you have?
We have.
Yeah, that one. Okay.
The option is 10, 20.
Yep. Yep, so we actually ended up cutting out the patio on the deep end of the pool. So in order to actually have a nice pool space for tables and chairs by the pool, we have, this one bigger area of concrete and then just a 3-foot walkway around, so. We already did cut out a lot for them, try to get this through.
How come we don't have some kind of pervious pavers?
Pervious pavers,
Yes.
because we don't like putting in impervious pavers. They
I
just,
don't- I'm, okay, pervious
It-
pavers.
it-
yeah,
it
you
just
keep what
ma-
you want. We're looking for,
pervious, yeah.
yes.
Pervious paver. It just matches his backyard better, because he already has his concrete patio back there. So it's just, we didn't like the difference in, look. We want the same natural look from his existing patio into his proposed patio.
Get rid of 500.
I know we do, that's why I'm here.
My patio is all bluestone.
And is this new proposed patio bluestone also?
It's gonna be a bluestone, yeah.
So
it's gonna
it
be
looks the
bluestone.
same looking out from the house.
The way we construct it, we obviously put a concrete base down, just so the patio, bluestone won't sink in the future.
Mhm.
So the patio won't sink in the future.
What's the current, what's the current?
Ratio, did you mention it earlier, prior to
Currently,
doing any work?
doing any work is 24.58%. So he's already almost at some impervious. So any improvements at all, he's gonna be over. Even if it's just a pool coping, he's gonna be over.
Mhm.
San Francisco, can I interject?
Sure.
I have a question, may change the whole parameter of this hearing. Did you calculate the pool surface in regard to your zoning calculation for impervious coverage? Because the township has two different requirements for impervious coverage. For stormwater purposes, the pool surface is excluded.
Excluded.
It's excluded. But for zoning purposes, it's included.
Okay.
So I see on the chart that you had provided, there's the site plan, and then that little chart at the very bottom, it says pool spa surface 672. And it says at the top, not included in impervious surface calculation.
Okay.
So that would actually, for the zoning purposes, that has to be added into your total, which is going to increase your request from 1.39% to it, and we can add it up quickly
Yeah.
to come up with an actual new total of coverage.
That's gonna be 29.86%.
What is it?
29.86.
You're at 209 Bishop Hollow Road.
Mhm. Hmm. Okay. So it's requesting over 1,200 or 1,300 square feet versus the 500 over.
$1,214. Must have misheard the zoning officer, or the zoning officer was on the phone. I can say blocked. They definitely counted in for stormwater management.
Mhm.
I have a quick question, so, I guess I'm trying to understand what the hardship, like, what's the, I don't see a hardship here, I'm just trying to understand what's the reason for the, I guess, the request for relief here, like, is there a possibility to modify the plan to get you to within, the 25%?
I don't really think so, because there's really nothing to take away, it could really take away in order for this pool to work.
And I don't
I
know,
mean, I
like,
already tried taking away as much as possible, and, we cut down a lot of this pool already, once we figured out the numbers.
in terms of the concrete
Concrete
patio,
all the way
yeah.
around, and
Yeah, he's at 24 point some percent.
he's already at the number, so any kind
I
of.
think they're gonna be added without. No
Yeah.
sheds,
Just
any sheds or other impervious surface on the property that could be
the
removed?
back patio and driveway. There's one wall out front that is very minimal. I think it was. I don't have it on here. And it's maybe 75 square feet. Nothing dramatic that even if it was taken out, it would do much.
Um, the problem is, the lot, the pool is too big for the lot. I guess the bottom line is, things you can do is move the pool and make the existing patio. And take your spa and make it, put it in the corner of the pool and pick up a lot of space.
We do.
You're asking for almost a 5% increase in 1,200 square feet. That's a lot. I mean, that's not even a little bit. A little bit you can kind of buy. Looking at 5% increase in impervious.
I mean, we do have stormwater management in place for this.
Can't really move the pool up against the patio because you're gonna undermine the entire patio. And then we're gonna have to.
So
Yeah,
either way, that's a portion of the patio that we're putting in, that big portion. That's still not gonna be much compared, you're still gonna need a patio going around the pool. So at some point, or some kind of walkway around the pool. And that patio is, very minuscule compared to,
I'm just,
no, I understand. It's just a nice transition from the one patio to the other, it just, the vision, it's a vision.
Yeah. Some reason. I mean, the lot is not shaped normal, right? Do you understand we're gonna struggle here, I guess?
No, I see the
There has to
struggle.
be some reason why,
It was a struggle for me
exception-
to designing this thing.
right, an exception should be made of why it should have anything in the first place, right? The answer could be then we just can't fit a pool, period. But like, whether, some, this is like a minimum, is this the minimum viable and what the reasons this is the minimum request? And then what is the hardship you're facing? That's really the things that have to be proved to grant something.
I mean, we went through plenty of different designs and we just couldn't figure out a way to make this look right in the yard that he has. It's just the pool up against the other patio, everything is just so pushed together. So we wanted to make it back into the yard a little more to give it its own kind of area. But once you push that pool, the house is, the size of the house, the size of the other patio. Once you push that pool next to it, it just looks like all one big thing.
I actually went out
Good.
there and, put wood corners up and frame, and pins and set it up, and then it was, too big, then we made it smaller, then we made it smaller, and then we, and from the look from the house coming out too, I mean, because we want to, just about every house in there has a pool. So it's just something that goes well with the house.
Totally.
What really kills us is being the corner lot with the two entrances.
Yeah,
and you
I have
can't
like a
really-
slice of pizza.
Yeah,
Okay,
driveway
that's
is-
It's all in the front.
yeah.
Can I put it in the front yard?
yeah, it's not a setback that we're discussing. I guess there,
the problem is, it's not what, where it is. Too much for it.
Yeah,
But aren't we taking care of that by the stormwater management?
separate, separate issues. Anything you add, even if it was within the impervious surface coverage, you would still need stormwater management
500
regardless.
square feet, anything in excess of 500 square.
So can we work with that patio that you're adding and reduce that somehow?
You want to come back, you want to
Mhm.
kind of talk, go back and redesign it and come back.
I don't think there's any way to move it close.
I don't think
Can't
there
move
is.
it
They've
closer to
already-
the house.
So they've already
You're gonna
reduced
have to
it.
do something. You're gonna have to do something.
They said they did, right? The first plans had a full wraparound patio around the entirety of the pool, correct? And they removed that.
Yeah, you can see it ends at the spa on the one side, and then at the patio on the other side, then the deeper end is an exposed wall that's gonna have, plantings around it.
I know.
I think I mean, there's definitely an issue, I guess you can call it an issue with the lot, right? So because of this lot, you have this triangular piece back there that, you know, it's your property, you want to try to fit something into. So I can see that being, you know, along the lines of like, that's what your hardship is, like you're trying to fit something into that space. You know, the question is really, you know, does it need to be 29.86%, or can it be anywhere smaller? If the answer is no, then we have to make a decision, you know, do we want to, you know, grant the variance request here, request for relief, and have you proven the case on this is the minimum variance that you could ask for, right? And so if that's your position, that's fine. And I think that we would have to, you know, vote on that. Right? So if your position is it, you know, kind of is what it is, you don't think you can work around this to make it a little bit smaller? And I'm not saying you, listen, that's
Yeah,
up to you guys.
I mean, I just, you know, from talking to Scott and just our vision alone of this backyard, really hard to make adjustments on what we already did.
Mhm.
Can you talk to me about the, doesn't really have a slope display? Can you talk to me about your surrounding area on the back side of this?
So
And
so the deep end of the pool is actually gonna be raised out of the ground. We are not touching any of the contours. The deep end of the pool is gonna be raised out of the ground. Deep end. Gonna be raised out of the ground. And the natural with the grade is gonna stay the same. We're not touching the grade, we're just building the pool. So at the deep end, the highest point of the pool is gonna be 2 feet out of the ground. And then once you get up to the corner where the patio is, it just meets even grade. So
and
the more you push it, I think the more you push it up too, the more this pool is gonna be out of the ground, the more grading you're gonna have to do in that backyard.
what's the neighboring properties, like how far off the property lines here are they? And which direction does the water run in today?
So the water flows. We're looking at the house, or looking at, say you're at the back, looking at the back of the house, the water flows to the right.
Okay,
That house is actually quite a distance away, maybe house in 300 feet, the actual house, 400 feet. And the house to the left, you can't even see, they have shrubs and it's a jungle.
and is this off the deep end here? Like, is that, what are those two, like, is that your stormwater management there?
Yeah.
Or what is that? Like,
Where
there's
at?
two little tails that come off of the.
Oh, no, that's just proposed grading.
Gotcha.
But proposed is existing, so that they're just throwing it in there to show that the grade stays the same on the
Gotcha.
existing contour lines. Stormwater management would be on the right side of the house. Would be collecting roof drains
Okay,
from roof surface and going to an infiltration pit, stone infiltration pit.
yeah, got it.
We're not changing the grade. We would do it in the back, but we're not changing the grade. The flow of the ground is still gonna stay the same as it was.
Any, with your expertise in this, is this too big of a pool? I mean, we've seen these come in before, this property, things like that.
Well, what I can say is, I think there's options that can be made. There's things that can be done to adjust it, but I've seen plenty of pools with the jacuzzi on the internal to the outline of the pool.
Right.
This isn't a pre-manufactured pool, it's a site-built pool, correct?
The custom concrete pool.
It's a custom concrete.
It's custom, yeah. And the only reason we didn't.
Well,
want
it's
to put the-
custom, I mean, it's custom because you can make it the size that you want. It's not a pre-manufactured product that you purchase and buy unit. So because it's custom, I think you're able to manipulate it to a size that can be accommodated, or at least close enough to.
Okay, so we don't want it, we didn't want to put the spot in. No, it's here and there, but we didn't want to put the spot inside the pool. Because he wants it to be more of a lap pool, so. Kids can, kids, grandkids, they can actually swim in the pool and not have that structure of a hot tub inside. And also, he would like to keep the hot tub open year round. So you can't have that in the pool when you want to keep it open year round. It's got to be outside the pool.
But could you put the hot tub on the patio and have a self-contained hot tub?
I mean,
Not one associated or integrated with the pool itself.
you could, yes, but for aesthetics for this pool and the way we want to build it, it looks, coming out that door of the house, you see that hot tub with the spillover on the other side of the pool. It's more like an oasis thing.
I understand.
Yeah.
was just asking for
Understood, but,
options, and
I
I'm
mean,
trying to give them
It's
options.
just, so,
If you're listening to what's going on here,
I know, there's a vision.
I think there's a vision you have when you have a house that's, a certain value and you're looking for a certain look. And you're thinking down the road, if I'm not, if somebody comes into the neighborhood and you want to sell your house, I mean, everybody, well, they got a pool, you don't have a pool. I think we've been planning this for over a year. And, it has just taken so long.
We're not saying that you shouldn't have a pool. What we're saying is the pool that you want is just too much for the land that you own.
and you can,
So you're saying I can't-
the options for the hot
So are
tub,
you saying I can't have a pool?
No. Well, no,
But you're
what we're
saying,
is.
but then I'm going down to the
We're not
thing where I'm
saying
having
either. We're just
a
saying
little pool.
there's things you can do to make our job easier by granting you a variance. And sometimes gotta kind of
compromise.
help us along and compromise with us and give us a reason why we think that your hardship warrants the size pool that you want, right? Unfortunately, here, you don't have the land mass, right? And the house you have now takes up so much space that you're over the ordinance that dictates the impervious surface that you have. So now what you're trying to do is add to it, right? And you're adding to it 5%, which is a lot, right? And what we're saying is, we're okay, and we agree that you might need a pool, but you're gonna have to make some concessions as to the amount of square feet that you want the variance to include. That's what we're saying, and
So
things,
what
things
would
you
your
can
number?
things you can do is put pavers in, you can move the spa up on the other patio, move the spa inside. You're gonna have to make some concessions, I think.
Or at least
From
an
where I-
explanation about
Right.
why this size, why we need this, other than,
I think
I
I've
just
said
want a
that,
bigger
you know,
pool.
it,
other than I just want a bigger pool.
no, that's not what I
Right.
said. I said it goes with the house. I mean, we've been through this so many times trying to figure out what, what we want here. I mean, I go around the neighborhood and I look and the guy across from me builds a shed in the front yard and that's okay.
Well,
And-
It's not.
But it's.
And he gets a variance for that.
So
I mean, this,
there's a couple of options here. We can continue this where you can have time, look at your options, come back. Or we can just vote on it tonight. I mean, it's up to you. I mean, there's some
well, it sounds
options.
like you're gonna vote no. So, I mean, what's my choice
I
here?
think your choice is to,
That-
we're trying to lead you to maybe take another look at this and see if there's another way that you can get what you want, but also come closer to within the ordinance here. You know,
So what would the number be that we would have to be looking at for an increase?
I think it's.
What would that number be?
Coming as close to the,
Yeah, and 5% isn't close. Like,
Right.
it might not sound like a lot, but it's not. In terms of what your neighbors have, like, it depends on their property. It depends on if they got a variance, so it's not necessarily relevant in terms of, whether or not you would be granted the variance.
And we
But I
understand-
understand, like, you
Right.
want to better your property, and so we're all property owners here, and we're not saying, no, I think we're asking you to take another look at it outside of just it's a vision and this is what you want. Is there something different that you can do? There's something different that you could do with the patio that helps your impervious situation, but with there's something different you can do with the spa. And we're kind of putting it back on you unless you want us to vote on it.
And we understand the calculations you guys did before is different now, knowing that is included for
Right.
zoning. So we're giving you the opportunity to either relook at that, come back. That's up to you.
What's that? What's that give us if we don't put that on there? They still have to put sidewalk over there.
Yeah, do you want to discuss it and then we'll move on cases, then you guys come back, or do you want to continue to the next meeting?
I would. 27.5% work. Somewhere around there. I'm trying to think of numbers in my head, like how. what
That's
I
why,
thought-
let's give you time to actually do this the right way. Come back to us, we'll continue it. And then next month,
I don't,
I
want to get it over.
this way you can
Can we
really,
just, can you take another case and
We can.
just talk for a minute?
yeah,
All right.
yeah. Yeah, agreed. Sam, what's the procedure with this, with them?
Well, we're just gonna delay it.
Delay that?
Yeah, and then we'll put them at the end of the
Okay.
list.
All right. We'll move on to 6.3 Z 2023-25, Matt Reed. 4533 Florida Avenue, Newtown Square, pertaining to the subject property. The applicant is seeking variance and relief 172 through 34. To allow secondary primary use on the property. Yes, this applicant requests relief from section zoning ordinance may realize in the zoning process. Premises located in the R3 zoning district. Who do we have present? Matthew Reed. Brother, name? George Reed.
Tom Wiedemann, architect.
Okay.
Wiedemann.
WIEDMAN.
Swear them in. And he's filing order.
Follows an order on the screen, you'll see that the property was posted with the notice of tonight's meeting. Next, you'll see the list of addresses that received the notice within 200 feet of the property boundaries. And the last item is the proof of publication. It was advertised in the Delta Times on 2 separate days.
Mr. Chairman, I ask that the application and any documents submitted with the application be marked as Township Exhibit number 1. Notice to the adjoining property owners within 200 feet with respect to tonight's hearing be marked as Township Exhibit number 2. Proofs of publication in the Daily Times on 2 consecutive weeks of tonight's hearing be marked as Township Exhibit number 3. And the posting of the property also advising anyone of tonight's meeting be noted as Township Exhibit number 4.
Okay, thank you. Let's move. Submit it. Right?
So.
How many party protestants for this case?
Not one, but I'm here present to listen,
To listen?
and I would like to reserve my right to speak
So public comment?
if necessary.
Okay.
I would also like to mention that neighboring property was not mailed, but I also surrendered that right. And I'm here tonight to listen only, so I'd like to see this.
So you may want to make public comment at the end? Okay,
But he may want to be a party protestant also.
maybe.
He doesn't have to be a party protestant unless he wants to be, have standing versus somebody who wants to just publicly comment. There is a differential.
Bob Lazy.
Robert Lacy, yes. BLAISSE. Own the property next door. I want it on record that I'm not.
Go ahead.
I basically want to turn my garage into a living space for my mother. She's had some recent health issues and she's, just been getting sicker and kind of needs to, be looked after a little bit better. So basically looking for a variance to turn my garage into a living space.
First question. The issue is it's a different structure, correct?
Correct.
Not connected to the house.
No, it's behind the house.
So this would be two living structures on one property,
Yes.
not connected to your house in any way.
Well, yeah, it'd be a separate living structure
Right.
behind my house, correct?
Will the second building have full amenities, kitchen, bath, everything?
Yes, kitchen and bath.
Probably wouldn't have a full-fledged kitchen, but that's debatable.
Cooking,
Yeah,
Counters, refrigerator, et cetera.
So sewer, water, electric, where is that all tying to your house, tying to the street, tying to?
It already has electric tied to my house.
Okay.
Sewer, we have to already upgrade to the public sewer. The main house, so I guess we tie them both into the public sewer.
Separately?
Yeah, sure.
You would have to, separate
Separately, okay.
EDUs and associated fees.
Andy, can I ask a question real quick? So in terms of like, I mean, always like.
Well, I looked at it, I mean, I believe that you could subdivide this property. It's a corner lot, as the plan shows, of Westchester Pike. Is it not a corner lot?
Yeah, it's a corner, yeah.
It is, there's
So,
dead end
so
street.
technically, I mean, in my opinion, because the lot area requirement in R3, it requires 12,000 square feet. The property in its existing condition as deeded is 35,000 square feet. Technically, they could subdivide the property and have the home on its own parcel. And then we wouldn't need to have this conversation about two primary dwelling units on one parcel, but that would require a subdivision plan.
So basically, right, the idea is to separate the two lots for two different houses. One house, two houses.
Okay.
You're asking basically to build two houses on one lot.
He's basically just looking to do an in-law suite for his mother,
Right, but it's not connected to the house.
correct?
You see the issue we're
I
struggling
do.
with here.
I would think if we were to subdivide, we'd probably run into some setback issues. Because it's probably, what, 25 feet to the house?
Roughly, I'd say, yeah. Give or take.
Could be.
There certainly could be other requests that come about. We don't know because we don't have a subdivision plan in front of us.
Have you considered building an in-law suite attached to the house?
Because we already have this structure.
It's your,
It's a
it's a
separate.
garage that,
Just acquired the property.
Right.
They were using.
Storage for the restaurant.
Mhm.
They had heat.
yeah, but that's
Yeah, but
you, but down the road, it,
We'll sign whatever you have.
I know there was some discussion that they did kind of want their mother to have her own space, so she's.
I believe, you know, she could have friends over, that kind of thing.
Right, she had a little bit of independence,
There's parking right there for 'em.
got its own little drive.
How far away?
How far is the structure to the main house?
And I haven't measured it, I mean, it's 25 feet, maybe 30 feet at most, I would think.
25 to 30, I think.
Build like a connection to it,
Andy, would it,
that help?
I think that may be the way to do it.
right, put a breezeway or?
I mean, we talked about doing
Some people
that, so.
would be required to in the
Yeah.
township. You can do that.
How to connect the two together to make it
Would it-
one?
Would it make a difference if there was a physical connection like a breezeway between the houses? Still would require
Well,
variance relief
you
most
connect
likely,
it,
but.
Now you're way into impervious coverage.
Right.
and Stormwater management. And,
Mhm.
I know our ordinance speaks a lot about having two separate kitchens, even in basements and pool houses and things like that. That, you know, we would get into that kind of discussion as well, so there's a lot of different hurdles that come up when you start to modify this plan.
Right. Right.
I don't know if you guys have looked. I think it's a great idea.
And that's the issue. I mean, you turn your garage into a house, whole township,
Yeah, we don't,
it's, we've done in-law suites, you've connected off the back, connected off the side, it's all connected, even if it's by a doorway, you know, it's have another house on the property is not.
Okay.
You're at, wait, you're at 32%. impervious.
Back to the drawing board?
Yeah, I mean, we could put an addition on the back or. Yeah,
One corner of the house.
we all get it, we understand, that's just further exceeds any reasonable minimum, relief in this request, so.
Okay, and what are some of the things we should be looking for so that it goes through if we did do an addition? No kitchen, obviously, or no cooking. Want to do that?
The traditional in-law suite type of setup, right?
Access to
And
the
a
house.
separate-
and they
Out,
have a
separate
door.
access.
100%.
What's attached to that?
The issue with attaching the garage currently cannot put a hallway of some sort. Breezeway to attach them.
I think you'll run into an issue with your impervious surface. Mentioned covering this entire, and I don't know how big it is. But I call it 25 by 20. You know, whatever that space is in between the, you know, the way I'm looking at the north end of the home, I think outside the garage. I don't know if that's proper.
You can look at the calculations.
Like any option is gonna propose other considerations, right? If you have an attached in-law suite that has its own kitchen, that's its own separate consideration and something that would require additional relief.
I mean,
If you put it above the garage.
another option could be subdivision, which would be the logical agenda for this kind of project. Yeah, I mean, I think it's worth a look. You may have less of an issue with a couple of, issues, maybe side yard or front yard. That's probably more acceptable, if it's, within reason, versus doing all this construction for the attachment and have issues there. It's worth a look-see. I'm not saying it'll work, but, and as a consequence of you looking at options, that might be one.
All right. Appreciate your time. I guess we'll come back.
So do we continue this or?
Well, if they're requesting it
Continuance.
continuance and they need time to study it, they'll tell us, you need a month, you need 2 months.
What do you think?
Yeah, we came back with options, right, and talked through those different things, which would require the rest
Yeah,
of
a
the.
month should be fine.
To continue to January?
I would
February?
suggest February.
February?
Well,
Yeah.
Back in that February meeting, I love it.
Real quick, I have a question on that. So they're before us today, requesting the variance. I forget exactly what it said, but if they come back with something that's totally different, like maybe they wanted to do
Subdivision.
an in-law suite or subdivision, at that point, they have a separate, maybe not even need the variance. right?
well,
Maybe it's
if they come back with something else, we're gonna continue this. If they come back with something else, they have to amend their application and we'll advertise it accordingly.
Or they might do something, needs no variance.
Yes,
Right.
if there's no variance, then we'll withdraw the
Right. They
petition
withdraw.
and get building permits.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Did I have a motion to continue to February?
So moved.
February?
Second,
February 15th.
15.
February 15th.
So moved. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
It was 23rd.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
23rd last time?
Yeah. Oh.
All right, moving along, 6.4. CD 2023-26 GK Ventures, 137 Indian Line Road pertaining to subject property at 3718 Gradyville Road. The absence variance relief to build the left side yard setback. The applicant also requests relief from section of the zoning ordinance as to the zoning process here. Hearing, it's in the R1 zoning district. We have president.
Greg Giuliano.
Kevin O'Donnell.
Right, long way.
ODONNELL.
JULIANO.
Any party protestants or public comment for this year? Any followers?
Follows an order, we see on the screen that we have, photographs of physical posting of the property. The notice that was and the mailing list, of everyone who received that within 200 feet of the property boundary, as well as proof of publication, Delco Times, and it's advertised on 2 separate occasions.
Mr. Chairman, I asked that the exhibits presented by the applicant and the documents supplied with the application be marked as Township Exhibit number 1. That notice to adjoining property owners within 200 feet of the property, notifying them of this evening's meeting, be noted as Township Exhibit number 2. Proofs of publication in the Daily Times 2 consecutive weeks for tonight's hearing, be marked as Township Exhibit number 3. And the posting of the property, a picture of the posting of the property be noted as Township Exhibit number 4.
Okay, entered. Thank you. Okay.
We are actually looking for a special exception, variance. We want to add a second floor to a single-story residence.
that is currently non-conforming in the garage on the east side is 3 to 4 feet over the current setback. 85-foot total, 40-foot minimum. I think the garage is at like 35, 36 foot. Just to be clear, we did not get a professional surveyor stepping it off. But if you look at the site plan, by the numbers, the house is a little wider than what's available for the depot side yards. So point is it's not conforming. We want to add to it by your code that any work to an existing non-conforming house or structure needs to have special exception. All the work that we're doing is well within current setbacks, not even standing on the existing non-conformity. You know, the house is, everything they want to do is within the character of the neighborhood. I would say is going to only help the property values. Like, look at your list of criteria for the special exception is all within right to the exception. I think we do. Character of the vicinity of the house is the same. Actually, I think that's true. Property suitable. Yeah, we're proposing to add, I think, like about 700 square feet. When it takes us up to about 5.5 to 6% of cover when we're out at 25%. So we're well within everything. I mean, we could double the size of the house and take it straight out the back and wouldn't need any approvals at all. The whole point is it's currently on.
All you want to
That
do,
about sums up.
what you want to do is do a second floor even over the garage?
No.
No.
The only thing that we will do in the portion that's currently non-conforming is change the.
Actually widening the garage, because it's only a single car garage. So we're gonna, well, it's a wide 1-car garage. We're gonna increase it to a 2-car garage. We need to extend the width 4 feet, but we're coming in towards the
Yeah.
property.
So
I
you're
think
gonna-
it shows on here, so I'm looking at this is the overview.
Yeah.
I think that gives the best,
Yeah.
depiction of it. The garage stays where it is,
Correct.
but already over, to your point, pre-existing, non-conforming position.
And everything, you can see everything we have as well within
Yeah.
setbacks that they were here.
You're not increasing any of the existing non-conforming.
I said everything that's currently not conforming, again, the garage there.
Andy?
Right, exactly.
Andy and Sam?
Yeah.
It says variance. Is it a special exception as?
Special
That's
exception.
what we were just discussing.
Okay.
All right, sorry. Thank you.
Any other questions from the board?
No.
Have a motion.
I'll make a motion to grant the special exception for application Z 2023-26 for the side yard setback.
Have a second.
Second.
The encroachment is how many feet? 3 feet?
3 feet.
3 to 4 feet roughly, and again, wanted to be clear, we do not have a professional survey done.
So I'll add a
Well,
condition
I don't want the
that
3 or 4 to expand to 7 or 8.
Yeah, so how about this? Can I add a condition that the garage will stay in the current setback? Like
It will
same
not
position?
increase, will not increase the non-conformity.
That plan that you
Yeah.
have was.
Yeah, we're not gonna increase
it.
To the left.
Setback
Again,
will
we're
not
going
increase
to-
the current non-conformity.
As I understand, if we did anything, even extend that existing non-conformity, we would need a variance.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, so that's
Yep.
why.
Just want the
you're
special
specifically
exception.
Not going to do that. They with the special exception, am I correct?
Yeah,
it
did, yeah.
Not going to increase the
Not gonna increase one.
So the answer is
Yeah.
you'll accept the condition that you'll stay within the present setback?
Correct.
Yes.
Whatever it is. I don't want to speak.
Yep.
It'd be 3 and 8.
Present side yard setback.
Right, left side. Left side.
Have a second? Well, I mean, the finding setback, we are adding on the front of the house a little bit, but it's not.
All in favor?
Yes.
Aye.
Aye.
Good.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Who was the second?
Outcome.
Thank you.
Falcon, we'll do Falcon. They tied, but we'll give it to Falcon. Next case. Let's go 6.5. No, it's what's up here. 2023-27, Elliott and Julia Pickett. 125 Barren Road, Newtown Square. Any subject property applicant seeks variance relief from section 172-34. The overage on their allowable building coverage. They also seek variance relief from 172-103B to allow for a shed height over 14. The application requests also sections from the zoning ordinance.
Hello,
How you doing?
all right, how are
Who do
you?
we have present?
My name's Elliott Pickett. Yes, sir.
Andy's file in order.
Yes, the file is in order. As you can see on the screen, we have a photograph of the physical posting of the property. We list of all the residents within 200 feet of the property who received a copy of the notice and the proof of publication for Delco Times. It was advertised on 2 separate occasions.
Chairman, I would ask that the township be exhibit township number 1 be marked as the application and then all accompanying documents that were submitted with the application. Township exhibit number 2 is the notice to residents within 200 feet of the subject property, notifying them of tonight's meeting. Township exhibit number 3 is proof of publication for the advertising of tonight's meeting in the Daily Times on 2 consecutive weeks. And the last would be the picture of the notification of the posting of the property be marked as township exhibit number 4.
They all submitted, thank you. Any party protestants or public comment for this case? Seeing none? What's yours?
All right. I'm looking to build a garage on our existing property. I had gone back and forth a little bit as far as size on it. We have a shed existing right now that has kids' bikes, toys, things like that there. Mainly looking for the shed to house my race car that I'm currently having to store half an hour away. So after going back and forth, I had shrunk the size of the garage down to under the minimum for the stormwater management. And I believe it was originally at 24% of coverage. So with that, and then removing the shed once I have the garage built, if that is a possibility, it would drop it to about 22.3%. Remove the shed after the garage is built, correct? Just I don't have anywhere to put all my kids' stuff at that point. So pretty much it. I think the overall garage would be 480 to 500 square feet. I believe that falls underneath the maximum requirement for stormwater management.
You currently have a structure all the way in the back, right?
Yeah, it's a 96 square foot shed.
You're not extending the driveway to that, or?
Not, might do pavers at some point.
Where's the shed?
It would be, if you're looking at the screen, it would be to the, I'm sorry, if you're looking at the house, it would be to the back left corner.
So.
Yes, sir.
And so plan is knock that down once you have the other one built?
It's on a stone foundation.
Yeah.
It's just a run of the mill 96 8x8 shed. I'm sorry, 12x8.
What was the proposed height of the garage?
It's about 14 feet to the peak.
14, is it over 14?
No, it is not. The 6x12 pitch, and I believe it is 20 feet wide. 20 feet wide.
So,
Hmm.
so we're here for the, seeking a variance to allow shed over 14 feet. right? That's what it says here. That's why I'm curious.
It's gonna be 14 feet, correct?
So maybe I'm confused. Why are you here?
The impervious coverage.
Oh, gotcha.
Building coverage.
And how much over is that?
Once once the garage is installed, it'll be 2.3 to 2.4% over.
Once the garage is installed and the shed is removed.
Right.
Building coverage. So your request is just for a variance for the building coverage. You're not requesting any relief on the height issue.
Correct.
So your height is going to be compliant with the 14-foot height restriction.
Yes.
And that's different on the description in here because it says over 14.
That's why I want clarification.
Okay. You're just at 14, not going over 14
That's correct.
for the coverage, all right.
And what's the final differential in the building coverage? Did you reduced it a little bit?
The initial plan was about 24%. It's now down to 22.3 to 22.4.
22.3 or 4.
You said you're storing cars in there? Are you going to extend the driveway?
At some point, I was thinking about doing pavers because I believe that doesn't count towards the impervious coverage.
It would,
It would.
yes.
Okay. Cross that bridge when I get there.
It's a race car. It's one of those little, it's not a stock car, right? Isn't that-
It's a hot
No,
garage.
it's a
Yeah.
race car.
Are your garage doors commercial or are they residential size?
Residential side.
Yeah, they're not one of those big overhead.
Could I? Not really with the car plus all my kids' stuff that I'm gonna try and store inside of there.
Any other questions from the board?
Does he need simplified? Do you need simplified stormwater?
So anything with Andy with the,
500 square.
Yeah, like you're gonna be over 480?
The original size was about 720 and that was, just wasn't gonna work.
You originally submitted plans for 720. And Andy, we kicked it back and it was, this is the,
That's where I settled on.
What's your opinion is this?
he did come back, he compromised, he made it smaller.
Yeah, I hadn't even come into the variance meeting at that point.
Yeah.
So I went back, looked at a few different things and that's the smallest that I can go.
Okay. Anything else from the board?
So we're 480.
480 with 14 feet. A motion?
I'll make a motion to approve application, variance for application Z 2023-27 for the overage and allowable building coverage. With the change to the application that it is not, a variance is not needed for the height of 14 feet and that it would comply with the height requirement of 14 feet.
A second?
We add one condition.
Sure.
That it must be as written here, 20.
Of course. Yeah, as
Not
As
to
applied.
exceed 480 or
And
14.
the other shed has to come down.
Okay, so not to exceed 480 square feet on the building area
and 14 feet on the height, and removal of existing shed on the property.
Yep. Second? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Perfect, carries. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Good luck.
All right, who made the second on that? Ed?
I'm going back to Earles Lane.
Way to be.
Holiday season. Everybody wants to make sure I got their gifts.
All right, so after some, well, talking through this, I think we're at 2986. I think if we push the pool closer to the house, eliminate some of that bigger patio, eliminate some of the patio around the spa, I think we can do it at 28%. 3%, okay. Instead of almost 5.
So Randy, do we need to see plans or pending on seeing plans, we can?
Or you
I
just
think
approve the
you could make a
percentage, right?
Condition not to exceed 28%, if that's what you all agree to, and then if you're comfortable with me reviewing the plan and assuring that it meets that percentage, we can do that.
Any questions from the board?
So I just need a little clarity, okay? So we're considering the grant of a variance for impervious coverage no greater than 28%.
Correct.
Any other conditions
No, not yet.
other than the standard?
Other than the standard, everything, yes. Do we have any questions? Do I have a motion?
No. I'll make a motion to approve application Z 2023-24. Granting variance for allowable impervious coverage. Note with the condition that the impervious coverage does not exceed 28% of the total property area.
Second? Okay. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Carries. Happy swimming.
Thank you. Thanks.
Was there any public comment?
Any public comment on this case?
Don't let her say it. She might want the pool
You
small.
wanna come up here? Come up here.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Happy holidays.
Time to work it out.
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it. Happy holidays.
Thanks. My last meeting, like, thank everybody. It's great working with you.
Thank you.
Adjourn.
You have public comment on the agenda?
Yeah.
Yep.
Make a comment about what you.
You gotta come up.
Your name on the record. William Mancy, MANSI, 111 Hickory Lane. I'd just like to make a comment concerning 0 Hickory Lane.
So that was extended to next month. That's not on this agenda.
Yeah, but I'd like to make comment tonight because I understand you're going to have a meeting concerning a conference that was made at the courthouse.
Dan?
Okay, so we went to the board meeting, supervisors meeting. Guess that was last Monday night. And they were supposed to make a decision on this. What do we call that? A stipulation? Yeah. They were going to make a decision on the stipulation. But they thought it best that you guys make a decision on that stipulation before they do. And I would just want to say that the other two folks that were here this evening are residents on either side of the property concerned. And as residents, we would urge you to approve this stipulation that came down from the court. So if you guys are going to put your heads together, decide whether or not to approve this stipulation, the residents would urge you to approve the stipulation.
I am a resident, and also the other two folks gave me permission to speak for them.
So Sam,
What are those people?
Greg Diurbano and Sharon Haslett. Greg Diurbano, Durbano, I believe. And Sharon Haslett, Haslet. There might be two S's and there might be two T's. I'm not-
And you were originally a party protestant.
I was
in the
originally a
application.
party protestant, yes, sir.
They did not.
Well, I think we would have had we gotten notice that there was going to be this conference. We were not notified.
I appreciate it. Because you didn't file your pension. Matter went on appeal. Okay, and you wouldn't have been granted the notice party litigation. Protesting here, once you appeal, you would have had to file a paper courthouse to be part of the appeal process.
Okay,
I'm not excluding you or listening to you,
I understand.
but the only parties to the litigation now, applicant filed the appeal, the zoning board who rendered the decision. Granted standing. After,
I'm not sure I understand what that.
There's some legal terms in there. It means that the parties to the appeal who are going to enter into the stipulation, the applicant, the township, and the zone,
Okay,
with input from you and your neighbors.
okay,
Okay, but I believe that you have heard what the proposal is from supervisors.
that's correct.
And you know that the only issue really remaining, house looks like,
Right,
and the side yard. Side yard will be,
right,
the other side will yet to be determined, but it's anywhere from 4 to 6.
correct.
And you would agree to those dimensions,
Yes,
your fellow residents would likewise agree to those dimensional.
that's correct. So,
But I just want to tell you, it'll be on the agenda, and you are free to come next month, as are your neighbors.
my understanding is, all that's necessary now is for the zoning board to approve this stipulation, did you
Yes.
call it?
Yes.
To approve it or disapprove it. My concern is, or what I would like to let you know is that the residents would urge you to approve it because there's stipulations in there that we agree to. And we understand that if you were to disapprove it and it was possibly to go to court then, that the judge at that court would remove all the stipulations. And so we want to avoid that. So would urge you to approve the stipulation.
okay.
Thank you.
Thank you for your comment.
Thank you for waiting.
I have one other matter that I thought was on tonight. Request for an extension. Variance. Sawmill. I'll give them an extension by 20th. February. That's 111 Sawmill Road. It was a development of property, slopes.
Yeah.
Of the land development.
So 6 months takes us to when, Sam?
It's the August 16th.
June, how about June?
Well.
6 months?
February.
Oh, so February,
February is when the last.
expire and they want from,
Correct.
okay. Have anybody, motion?
Number
We got one motion, second,
Second.
send it to August. Oh, you got it.
Thank you.
Yes.